Hi, morning or afternoon, I'm Allison, and we're gonna go ahead and do a mini flow that we're gonna deconstruct. So, one of the great things about deconstructing, like in food, we deconstruct so we can taste each part that goes into the whole. One of the great things about doing a deconstruction in yoga is that we can take each pose and focus on it and focus on our form versus in a flow where sometimes our momentum and sometimes we blur from pose to pose. So today we're going to go ahead and take it one by one by one. The other great thing about deconstructing poses in yoga is that we allow our muscles to work by even staying still. So it's an isometric work on our muscles versus moving them and having them work that way. So let's go ahead and start that right now. Let's stand up. We're going to go ahead and take some sun breaths. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. I'm going to show you the side version of that so you can see that when we inhale all the way up, we're actually having a slight back bend and a curve to our spine every time we inhale this way. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands up. Keep that curve. We're going to exhale, forward fold. Now, when we're in our forward fold, one of the things that we want to remember is that our crown of our head is facing the mat, and the weight of our body is on our heels. So we could actually pick up our toes and it wouldn't change our alignment at all. Half lift. Now when we half lift, we're actually sending our weight towards the toes, so we could just put a little tiny piece of paper underneath our heels when we are in our half fold. Exhale all the way down. Inhale, arms all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale again. Exhale all the way down to a forward fold. Also, in our forward fold, if our hands don't touch the mat, it is better to bend our knees so that our alignment is correct. This time, let's do a half lift, shift our weight, forward fold again. We're going to go ahead and get into a tabletop and see our proper alignment and do some cat and cow. So when we're in our cat position, we literally are pressing all of our palm, all of our fingers, everything into the mat and lifting the backside of our body and the muscles in our back. When we get into our cow, it's not so much about dumping in and changing the curve of our spine, so much as it's pulling our chest forward and raising up our chin. So let's do that again together. Get into our cat. Inhale to our cow. One more time. Exhale into our cat. Our navel should be pulled in, our chin should be tucked, and last into our cow. The next pose that we're going to deconstruct and go into slowly is straight from our tabletop into our down dog. So one of the best ways when you're starting, and this is for beginners and for everyone who's been doing yoga for a while, that's what's so great about when you deconstruct, is that you're actually slowing things down to remind you of your proper form, because sometimes we get a little bit either lazy or it just gets easier to just kind of keep going without stopping. So one of the best ways to see how you're really supposed to get into down dog is to take a block. So we're gonna have a block with us right now. We're gonna put it right on our thighs and lean over into it so that we're kind of tucking it into our belly and our thighs. Put our hands down, almost like we're in a little bit of a raised child's pose. We're gonna tuck our toes, hang on to our block as we raise our hips, and so you'll get to see how your hips tilt with this block holding on to it. So we're gonna raise up, hold it, hold our block. So see, we're still in that position, and then we get to a place where this block is gonna drop because we've tilted our hips in such a way that it's ready to be released. But the way we get into it is that we are holding on to our hips until the very end. So in this downward dog, we can go ahead and pedal the dog, go ahead and shift from side to side. And we're gonna do a little bit of a flow, but really, really slowly so we can go through every single pose. Let's go ahead and lift our right leg up. Go ahead and pull it all the way through. Softly land. Raise up into our crescent lunge. I'm gonna move for you guys. And then we're gonna turn into our warrior two. So, when we're in our warrior two, we wanna make sure that we're always in proper form and alignment, even when we're going through kind of a fast vinyasa or a fast flow. So you should be able to see your big toe and your second toe from your knee. Everything on your back leg should be pressing in, and especially the blade of your foot. And then you need to make sure that your shoulders are back, chest is out, your shoulder blades are pulling together, and then slightly go back. There's a tendency in warrior two to be forward, when really we want it to be more straight and using this quad lots and lots. Let's go ahead and reverse our warrior. So when we do this, only our top half should be moving. Our bottom and our legs should be staying the same. Back into warrior two. Side angle. Now, there's a tendency to take this back arm and to just shoot it forward. I'd like you this time to go ahead and make a circle with your arm so that when you open it up, you're actually opening up your whole entire chest. So let's do that one more time. Warrior two, side angle. Warrior two. Make sure we're still in that proper alignment. Our thighs are pulling together. Let's straighten that front leg. We're going to hinge at the hip forward and drop into our triangle. Now, part of what we want to do in triangle is we really want to make sure that our body is as flat as it possibly can be. Meaning that we are opening up our chest completely, even if we're using props. So one of the ways that I look at it is that there should be a little piece of toast that's going right into the toaster. That's how flat we are. So we are opening up hips and our rib cage. Back into warrior two. Let's go ahead and bring our hands to the ground. Take our front leg back into plank. And let's put our knees down, and we're going to do a little bit of deconstructing of our chaturanga to make sure that we're doing proper form so we're not bothering our shoulder and we can build up our strength. So one of the hardest things to do when we're talking about chaturanga is that pull through. Here's a really good way to see how much you need to wait to pull through. Let's go ahead and start in child's pose with our hands forward. and our elbows on the ground. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start to pull our chest through our arms. Our elbows are still on the ground until we reach right towards our fingertips, and then we raise up. So let's do that a couple more times. Forearms are down, elbows are down. Scooping, 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 and lift. One last time. We're gonna scoop through, keep it down, and up. The other thing about chaturanga that is a little bit tough is to build up our arm strength and our triceps so that we're not dipping down and we're lowering at the same, all of our parts of our body are lowering at the same time. So one of the really good ways to practice that is to get 2 blocks, and we're gonna go ahead and start on our knees. We're gonna touch our middle finger, our pointing finger, our index finger, on the tip of the block. Let's go ahead and give us some room here with our knees. Then we're going to shoot forward so that our arms are straight. This is how you want to be in a chaturanga. That's why whenever we do a chaturanga, even if we're on our knees, you're going to see that you can still feel what it's supposed to feel like. We're going to go ahead and touch our shoulders to the blocks a few times and just work on our triceps. So we're straight, forward, touch down, raise back up. Let's do that again. Touch down, raise back up. One more time. Raise down, come back up. So now we've worked on strengthening in our arms and the way that we can pull through. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of our flow that we were just working on, all through, but in very, very, very slow motion, so we can still feel every single part of our poses. Let's go ahead and start in down dog. Take a deep breath. Go ahead and lift our other leg up. Bend it. Pull our leg through. Rise up very slowly still to high crescent. We're going to drop our back foot, pivot a little bit, strong arms, and go all the way into our warrior 2. Check our alignment, reverse our warrior, back through to warrior 2. Still very slowly. Side angle, where we open up our chest. Back through to warrior 2. Let's straighten our front leg. Pivot at the hips. Triangle. Bend that front leg. Back into warrior 2. Pivot on our back foot, high crescent. Windmill our hands to the ground. Take our front leg back into plank. Now we can do our chaturanga, whether or not we're going to stay high. We're going to shift a little bit forward, down. Follow through to upward dog or low cobra. Back to downward dog. And so now you can see that even if you're doing a fast flow, that there's always a chance to slow things down and to have the proper form so that we go back to the basics and or we get to taste that pose a little bit more and see how they all get together and they make a beautiful, beautiful flow. Thank you very much. Namaste.